You might be wondering, why are you outside at night? The last time we saw you, it was Friday, and now it's 11:42 on Wednesday. What happened? I had a pretty stacked weekend is what happened. Friday, all day vineyard, get back Friday night. Went out, saw some friends. And then Saturday morning, I was perusing Facebook Marketplace at about 10:24 a.m. as you do. And I saw something that caught my eye. It was a boat. Original listing was 1,500, and then that was brought down by the seller to 1,000. And I went to check it out, and 1,000 would have been steep, so I was haggling a little. And I pulled him aside. I was like, "Hey, can we do 8?" And unfortunately, I hadn't had time to talk with my my expert. Pawn stars, they always call the expert, which is my dad. I bring him because I'm 6'7", as y'all know, and that makes him about 8 feet tall, buff. So I'm joking, guys. In reality, I'm 6 foot. Yikes! This guy's a bum. But yeah, so my dad's a rather imposing individual, and his archetype is German. So he's a pretty big guy at about 6'3", 6'4", and he's built. So brought him down. He was looking at it, and right after I told the guy 800, he didn't hear me say that. He turns to me and he goes like this. 500, and I was like, oof, if only I knew, because I was fine buying it for 800, because what I saw was a boat that was good for at least one season, and an outboard 70 horse Mercury, which is a pretty legendary outboard brand. For 800, I get a boat that'll probably last a season and a motor that might work. To me, that was a win, because one of those motors would be around 1,000, and a boat that needs some work would also be around 1,000. So in my mind, I was getting $2,000 worth of stuff for 800 bucks. Yeah, I gotta put in some work. Here's the boat. Here it is, in all its glory. 1974 Glaston GT 150. This thing was a little dirty, but my unemployed friend cleaned it for me. Shout out BL. It's got a Mercury 70 on the back. Came with a battery. No seats in it, but it came with seats. Came with a lot of the hardware necessary. And yeah, I mean, the battery was dead when we found it, so we were like, oh, we don't even know if any of this is gonna work. And before the steering wouldn't turn it, but we just got some grease. We got some grease on that piston back there. I don't know if it's hydraulic or what, but yeah. So now it turns with the wheel. Which is pretty epic, pretty awesome, and very necessary for a boat. You need to be able to steer, and the slop is pretty minimal. It's it's probably a couple degrees, but that is not bad at all. And it's fine to be a little loosey-goosey, because boats in general are a bit loosey-goosey. But the biggest win was the battery. We charged it up, and this was loosey-goosey. My friend installed this board, as well as this, which holds the battery and tank, and the extra hull plug. But when it's wired up, it works. So the motor for the outboard actually lifts it, which when that just went, I was like, oh, that's amazing. So, and then we opened it up, took a peek. It was a little dirty and everything, but as a a motor from, we don't really know what year, but from anywhere from 74, which is the manufacture date of the boat, to around 86, I think, is around the range we're thinking this is. And the fact that the motor just to move it works was already a good sign, because it meant the battery was getting power and some of these wires were actually connected to the right things. So yeah, and then we tried to crank it. I'm not going to do that because it might actually start because of the work that
Let's do it.
So originally it just cranked to the starter.
Should probably put that back down.
Yeah. Yep. Shout out cameraman with all the shout outs, with all the tips and tricks, you know. He's a real guy, by the way. He can turn the camera around if he wants. He just
About that him.
He's not maybe he is a classic cameraman. Doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, all that. So I've lost the plot a little. Let me get back to it. So when we originally got it, we cranked it, starter ran, nothing happened. So we just went down the list. So yeah, this is the project. Now we know the motor runs, we know the throttle works. We ran some seafoam through it to kind of clean up the carbs, and we did a little scrubbing and cleaning. The only test left is to see if it floats, which I'm hoping it does, but there's some spots on the bottom which are a little soft and have been patched with silicone, and so you don't really know how well that's going to work. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, because if it isn't 100% buoyant, we have a bilge pump that works. The only downside with said bilge pump is that you have to manually connect it to the battery. I don't know if you saw that spark. I'll move my hand. Just tap it. No spark, which is good. Oh, there it is. And it runs the pump, which the bilge pump is located in the bilge, and it pumps. Wow, fascinating. They were really good at coming up with creative names for equipment. Essentially, if water comes into the boat, we know that there is a pump that will flush it out, which is good. So I'm not too worried. You know, obviously, I'm gonna secure the seat down for at least the driver, because you don't want your driver flying around the boat. Your helmsman, if you will, the captain of the ship, you don't want them flying around, you know, unable to control it, because that's bad. Oh, terrible! I just realized I spilled my beer. Tragedy.
The whole beer?
The whole beer.
Holy shit.
Must have been when I hopped in.
Oh, look, it's all over there.
Damn.
Damn. Beginner mistake.
This is... Oh, censor that. Yikes.
Yikes. Yeah. Ooh.
It's all a mess.
Let me guess, you're fucking pissed.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking pissed.
The quality on that was a little too good. I zoomed in.
My plan for the winter is maybe not a full hull restoration, but I will be putting some work into the hull just to fortify. I might as well do it, you know, and it's a fun project. Gives me something to do while my friends are at school, you know, and I'm bored on the weekends where they're like studying for their exams. Ugh. You know, I'll get home on a Friday with nothing to do. I'll just work on the boat. You know, a lot of people, they'd be like, oh my goodness, why would you buy something that you wouldn't even know works? What's the point? Boats are expensive. It's a waste of money. But to me, the project and the enjoyment and fulfillment to just like have something, you know, to tinker with. I just know a lot of people who they don't really have a hobby because they're so caught up and they're so busy, you know. And so for me, I'll always have this, you know? So that's all I need. Just me and some friends who can really put in some work and help me out, and my boat.